2025 is your year to build foundations and rebuild yourself. And the reason why I've come to this conclusion for my new year is, for me, 2024 kind of felt like a filler episode. And for those of you who don't know, a filler episode is essentially an episode or two where, usually in a cartoon or anime, the main characters are usually just doing regular things, whether they be training, they're playing games, they're exploring a city, getting new clothes. It's really just regular life, but condensed into an episode. What I found for myself was, while 2024, I feel like, had a lot of important internal shifts for me to be here in 2025 with this mindset, I feel like I want something more tangible to take in with me and go into 2025 knowing that I'm building things for the long haul. And so the reason why I feel building a foundation is important is because I've come to understand and appreciate the importance of safety nets, whether it be in building a skill set, financial literacy, building community around you, a reputation, or building assets like a social media platform or anything that allows you to have options that are sustainable, versatile, and strong for you to be able to make changes when you do want to, and also have things to lean on when times get tough, or things that can catapult you into a better position because you have a solid base to grow from. With going into 2025, I feel like it's a great time to really ask yourself, in 5 to 10 years, what is the ideal circumstances that I want to be living in? And they don't have to be so concrete that it's like, if I don't live this way, I won't be happy. But I think it's more like a mix of future planning your vision for what you want to live into the future, and also giving yourself think of your safety net as a web, not necessarily as a concrete block. Because if you look at, say, spiders and whatnot, when they make their webs, they're very open, they're very porous, so it can adapt and change the wind and rain, but it's also very durable, very flexible, and very strong. So when I say foundation, people have different visualizations for what a foundation can mean. For some, it's a vine, something that they can just anchor onto and swing throughout the world with, because they prioritize spontaneity, freedom, and being able to change things on a whim. For others, it's a core foundation. It's that concrete block that I'm talking about, which is they want to be a pillar of their community. They plan to live in the same town that they grew up in, die in the same town they grew up in. They really want to build a sort of empire for themselves within a particular city or town that they're staying in. And for others, they might be somewhere in the middle, whatever visualization works for you. For me this year, I think the web fits the best because it has that durability, but it's allowed to, you can extend it and expulse it whenever you need, but it still has the durability to withstand rain, weather, and be able to wrangle things that you need at any moment. So something that's portable, but also durable. And so, visualization aside, I think making an ideal vision for yourself, like I said, for your future, that in 5 to 10 years, what would make you feel fulfilled? What would make you feel a sense of peace or joy or excitement? But also thinking to yourself, what are the 3 to 5 skill sets and or mindsets that I can start to build now that maybe have 1 to 3 different uses as I build a dream? For instance, maybe you want to get better at writing. You want to get better at written communication. Written communication is such a base skill. It has so many different uses. It can be for communicating with people that you love. It can be for persuasion. You can build a social media platform for it. It can help you write grants and scholarships to get money for a certain venture you want. It's such a versatile base skill that you can have it towards the one aspect of your vision that you want, but you can also, if things do change for you in your visionary sense, adapt that skill to be useful to you in multiple different ways. Everyone has their different kind of combination of skills that they want, and they don't always have to be so linear that it has to have 3 different things attached to it for it to be useful. But I think it's no different than building a base wardrobe or style for yourself, where it's like, I have a pair of jeans that are dark wash jeans, dark blue denim jeans. Now, I can wear it with a black tee, but I also can wear it with a nice blazer. I can have a polo on it. I can wear a really nice pink shirt, and it goes well with it. That dark blue jeans, though it's fairly basic, has so many uses and versatility in its wear that you have many options to adapt with if your mind changes in the future. So that's the reason why I feel like when you're building your skill sets for 2025 of what you want to build, I think thinking about one ideal vision that you want to occur from it in the future helps you anchor yourself emotionally. But also, if you want to be practical, give it a couple ideas or options that you can then use this tool for to then if things change, you can still use it in a useful way towards your new goal. Number 2 is embracing a beginner mindset. One thing that I realized was the most timeless skill that I've learned was the importance of learning how to learn. I truly believe that if you learn how to learn and break things down in frameworks, visualizations, mindsets that work for you, you can learn and do anything. Because every skill that you see on the high level was once done by someone who knew nothing about it. And through time, consistency, patience, all assets that are free to us to be able to enact and embody, you can end up creating that end vision that we would call a masterpiece. And this person who created it called them a master. And so for me, that was through martial arts is where I learned that skill of learning how to really break things down, conceptualize things, have patience and consistency, but also making different frameworks for yourself, learning to gamify things if you're someone who needs a bit of dopamine to be able to get hard things done, knowing how to build levels and frameworks for yourself that you can grow into so that you're not trying to achieve everything all at once, but more being able to appreciate the journey, build as you grow, and take what comes with that journey as it may. For instance, with YouTube, I have different levels of growth that I want for myself. Right now, in level 1, I have a goal of outputting 52 videos, but rather fast, because I want to get the data out, I want to see what resonates with people, and really get to test the principles and ideas that I feel are interesting for me to share, but also useful for you to watch. With level 2 though, it's way more about slowing down and crafting a better experience with every video, so that, ideally over time, one video that I make in level 2 is ideally worth 3 videos that I make in level 1, because the attention to detail is more prevalent. The pacing is better. I'm taking time to memorize things more so I can talk more directly to the camera. These things allow me to pace myself so that when I'm building a 5 to 10 year vision, I'm not getting burnt out because I have the sprint style of a 1 year outcome, but more so allowing myself to kind of cruise control into the different levels I want to achieve so I can enjoy the ride and also pace myself so that the level of expectation I have for my end result matches the drive I have for that success. I'm not outpacing the natural timeline of my vision. That's why I feel like it's important to really understand yourself, understand the way you think about things, and even give yourself what I would like to call a software update at the end of every year. Making a series of deep questions that make you think introspectively about yourself, like revisiting your principles, revisiting your values. What do you think about the world? Where do you stand on certain politics? Always kind of checking in with yourself in an impactful way, twice a year, once a year, 3 times a year, and really just checking in to make sure that where you're headed, the action that you're taking, are in alignment with where your mindsets are coming from. Number 3, which is prioritize systems over hustle. Going off of the idea of asking questions of yourself every year to update your mental software, your belief software, I do believe from that you should be building, you can do whatever you want. But for me, what has been helpful is building systems that allow me to then be able to shut my mind off and continue forward into the future. I think oftentimes we can overthink about our daily actions, especially if our goals are more in the long term. And it makes us feel like, is the small movements that we're making even worth it in the grand scheme? But what I found is that by taking 3 to 5 high ROI activities that you feel are crucial to achieving your goal, by breaking them down to micro pieces that you can achieve comfortably every day, and doing those 2 to 3 to 5 things every day over time, you can allow yourself to emotionally and mentally ride the waves of the ups and downs of life without attaching so much value to the everyday goal, because it's only as simple as aiming to hit this bullseye every day. And obviously that's easier said than done. Oftentimes, even in the daily habits, you can have so much emotional upheaval that it can be hard to even build a habit in something, especially if it's a big goal or something that is different from what you've usually done. But what I found is the important things about systems is that as you build it over time, it becomes easier to enact. And our mind naturally works that way as well. And finally, number 4, which is leverage networking and community for support. So one important tool that I feel is essential in building a vision or building a dream is having like-minded people who believe like you, work like you, want a vision like you around you. And it can be done whether it be online in the content you're consuming, the books you're reading, the movies you're watching, but ideally it's also in person. Especially if you can be around people while you're actively building. For me, it was within martial arts, but also if you get a coach or you join a sort of online Zoom group where you guys meet weekly and talk and chat, as you're building out your goal or skill or whatever you're doing. I think there's nothing like having people who you can build community with while you're building your ideal self, because it almost compounds and protects that you that you're building. Because not only are you motivated by this vision that you're enacting, but you're surrounded by people who also push you, motivate you, encourage you to then keep building that ideal version of yourself as well. And I think humans also work naturally by process of osmosis, meaning that we're constantly taking in and adapting and changing our mindsets, our actions, kind of balancing ourselves out to the rhythm of our environments, whether it be mental, spiritual, emotional, physical. And so by making sure that your environment naturally through osmosis is feeding into the ideal self that you want, it takes away a lot of energy from you to constantly maintain that sense of self that you want if your environment doesn't match the you that you want to be. So those are the mind states, the behavior systems, and the foundational skills that I feel like are essential to really build a powerful 2025. Peace.